So, hey everybody, I am here with Laura Pipkin, and you may have seen her other video making the borscht, and we've just actually completed that here in the kitchen. But now we're going for the sweet stuff.
Yes.
Tell me what you're making. This is another camper's favorite.
Yes.
And kind of a surprise that the girls liked it, right?
Yes.
You made it the first time, so tell us about it.
Well, it is a sticky date pudding, and it is a cousin to sticky toffee pudding. I think it has more dates in it. The recipe's a little different. One of the young ladies from England that worked in the kitchen presented this as her international lunch offering. And when we first put it on the table, the very first year, the campers kind of looked at it and thought, ugh, I don't know if I want to try this. Counselor had a bite, said, oh, girls, you need to try this. So they did tentatively, and then it was love. There are so many different kinds of dates, and the ones that I find that I just love are the medjool dates. And they're big and juicy. They're considered fresh. And so when I buy them in these great 2-pound tubs because I'll just pop one in my mouth as a snack. It's so delicious. But I normally like to buy them with the seed intact. There's a little stem end as I'm preparing them. I'll take that off. It's hard to see, but you don't want to eat that. And then I'll just tear them up. This little pit inside is probably not as, people are not as aware of the value of these. But what I do is I'll rinse them off, let them air dry, and then I save them until I have a full batch. And if you can see, I'll lift this up. I've got a whole jar that I've saved. And once the jar is full, I roast them in my oven, and then I grind them in a Vitamix, which gives me this beautiful powder, and you can make it like coffee. You can make a drip coffee, you can make it in a French press, and it's not coffee tasting, but it's got this wonderful, rich, deep flavor. You could use it as a base for making hot cocoa or just drink it like a tea. So that's something I like to do, but if that's not your cup of tea, you can just buy them with the pits already removed, which will save you some time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this tray, but I'll show you. I'm just gonna cut these down into little slices, and they're gonna become part of our dessert, the most important part. So we're going to prepare our baking dish. I've got an 8-inch round cake pan, and most recipes tell you to oil and flour your cake pan. I found this recipe and I've been using it ever since. It's equal parts. I used like a third a cup of flour, a third a cup of an unflavored or unscented oil, just a plain vegetable oil, and a third a cup of shortening. And I just go in and I'm going to dip it in and brush it onto my pan. And that replicates the flour and butter, which to me is just, everything comes out so much easier. It's shelf stable. You can store it for several months in the pantry. So if you need to make a smaller batch or share it with your other cake baking friends. But I was always so frustrated with bundt pans and things that have these beautiful decorative curves, and being able to get them properly covered so that the cakes come out easy. And I never had any luck. They would always crumble. So when I found this, I thought this was the greatest thing ever. So I've just brushed it on there and my pan's ready. Prepared the 8 ounces of dates, took the pits out and cut them, and they're just into little chunks. I've got half of them are in the food processor and half of them I've covered with warm water, and I'm letting them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes where they're going to soften up, and you'll end up using that liquid, that's the water. What's going in the food processor is the brown sugar, and I've got 3/4 cups of brown sugar, and I'm just going to puree, kind of pulse chop that until it's like the texture of sand. Now I'm gonna measure out my dry ingredients. I've got my flour, and we're gonna just give them a quick whisk together. I've got 1 1/4 cups flour. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of baking powder, and we've got half a teaspoon of salt. I think my big salt. We soaked the dates. I have removed the soaking liquid, and I'm gonna add it to the food processor. We're going to add the liquid from the dates. I'm going to give that a quick pulse. Then we're going to add melted butter, eggs, and vanilla. Makes a nice kind of wet sauce. Now I'm going to add, I've got 2 eggs. I'm just going to add both of those in here. And the butter I melted, I'm going to pour it. I don't know, it's not probably the best angle, but butter, everything is better with butter. And vanilla. And I make my own vanilla. I've got this one that's made with bourbon and vanilla beans, and it's probably been soaking. The original liquid is probably 15 years old. So I just use the vanilla beans and the vodka or bourbon or whatever. You could do rum, whatever you like, and makes delicious. Delicious, delicious. Here we go. All right. One of the things I learned working in large-scale food production is that foil, if there's any kind of acid, will kind of eat through to your food, and I don't really like it touching my food. So I use parchment paper underneath the foil, and this kind of protects the food. If you've got something that's got cheese on it, you can always put a little pan spray or something so it doesn't stick, but this should be fine. Now I have a larger pan. I'm gonna put this in here, and we have heated up water, and I'm gonna pour it in, and I want it to come up about 1/4 inch up the pan. And so when it goes in the oven, it'll steam. All right, I think that's perfect. Sticky date pudding in the oven, it's finishing cooking. There's one thing we need to do before it comes out of the oven is to make the sauce. So I've got 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna add some heavy cream and the brown sugar. We're gonna end up putting it on a stovetop and letting it melt down. That's a cup of packed brown sugar. Let me tell you, this is the sweetest dessert. We've got about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of, actually the lemon juice goes last. So I'm gonna put this on the stovetop and mix it together, heat it up, and let it cook for a little bit until our dessert is done, and then we're gonna end up pouring it over the dessert. We have mixed together the ingredients that we've added. We've got 2 more to add. We're gonna add a little rum and some lemon juice. And I wanna show off this rum. I had it first a number of years ago. It's made here in Texas, and it's called Raylene Rum, and it's from San Leon, Texas on the Gulf Coast. And it's delicious. So I'm gonna add a tablespoon, and we're gonna just let it simmer down. Of course, when we were cooking for the campers, we did add rum, but it cooks so long that there's no alcohol left in it. It's just the extraordinary flavor. A little lemon juice, and I'm going to stir it with this cool whisk, and we're just going to let it simmer until our pudding is ready to come out of the oven. This is the great unveiling. Take the foil off. Oh, it looks good. It's spongy, but I think we're good. And it'll continue to cook as it sets. But I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the water. You can use a bamboo skewer or a temperature gauge. And we're just gonna poke a ton of holes all the way and go close to the edge. Don't be shy, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up adding that beautiful caramel sauce we made over the top, and we want it to just soak right into the dish. Some of this might be a little soft, but that's okay. It's still firm enough. It's gonna sink down into all those holes that we poked. Isn't that gorgeous?
Here it goes. We're gonna try it. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful.
I know, and adding a little bit of that heavy cream to it.
Oh. Oh my gosh, I think I've died and gone to heaven.
Isn't that just the best thing ever?
Oh my gosh.
This is enough sugar for a week.
Yeah.
It is
I'll
so
talk
good.
about that right now.